Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the review realm. Once again, we got another album review for you. We're just chugging them out as per usual. If you're new to the show, please hit the like button and also subscribe to the show. It really helps us out with our album reviews and our interviews as well. If you have not checked that out, a brand new one just dropped recently. Really excited about it. Yeah, let's get right into the album review and share who always joins me for these album reviews, the SLB himself, Sam.
Hey guys, it's me again. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm going to tell a quick story before we begin. This band I think is interesting for us because first of all, we reviewed them years ago. Second of all, John and I might have inadvertently gone to see them 16 years ago at the same show, or this artist at the same show. 2010
Yeah,
Mayhem.
no, that's right. Yeah, we did review an album from this artist 10 years ago. Geez, if you want to check that out, it's the one with the really long title that I cannot remember off the top of my head, but it's out there for you. And we're going to be talking about his eighth studio album now. Of course, we are talking about the one and only Rob Zombie, his first album since 2021, The Great Satan. We're talking here.
Yeah, Rob Zombie. What's there to say that hasn't been said with this individual? What I will say, initial thoughts, Rob Zombie is pretty consistent with his content in his albums.
No, I absolutely agree, and I don't know if I've ever told you this, Sam, but his first album, Hellbilly Deluxe, is very important to me. I remember listening to that at a very young age. Geez, I don't even think I was 10 years old yet, and it really was one of the starting points of the taste in music I have now. I love that album, but like you said, yes, Rob Zombie is somebody that is very consistent. So I like to think that I know what I was expecting going into this album. And I do have quite a few thoughts on here. What was your overall first impressions of the album?
So again, that's kind of what I was going at. I do I do enjoy anything Rob puts out. It may not always be the greatest, but it is consistent in quality. Hellbilly Deluxe Volume 1 arguably is his best album to date, and it's always going to be hard to top that one because it's also a personal favorite of mine. It is, I think, the quintessential Halloween metal album, personally. Um, this one, I thought we had some great tracks on it. There were definitely some other ones I didn't really care for. But I thought it was a good solid listen. I think there's going to be some legendary songs coming off of this one, as with all of his other albums.
Yeah, let's dive right into the singles. One thing I will say that this album does is it maintains consistency by being short and sweet and really to the point. It looks like there's a lot on here because it has 15 songs. Some of these are transition tracks like Who Am I? Or another one was Welcome to the Electric Age. So just acknowledge those because they're like less than a minute. But yes, the album is 15 minutes only. I mean, excuse me, 15 songs, but only about 38 minutes, which I think is reasonable for an album these days.
I was shocked. First and foremost, I don't mind an hour long album, but there are definitely plenty of them where you've overstayed your welcome like 15 minutes ago. Um, so I'm not the length of albums don't usually bother me. However, I was shocked because when we had to review this one, I was like, oh man, we got another hour long album from Rob, and I was like, wait a minute, this might be one of the shortest albums for the year.
Yeah, most of these songs maintain about the 2 to 3 minute mark. Going into the singles right here, I really liked. I think my favorite song on the album probably was "I'm a Rock and Roller." I really liked that bridge, and it. I think what they were trying to go for on this album was that Hellbilly Deluxe feel, and I really felt it on this song, even a little bit too on Heathen Days. I felt like there was something old school about it, even though the other thing that's really consistent with this album is very repetitive at times. I feel like with a lot of the choruses and in most of these songs, if not, it does get a little repetitive. But the songs maintained a short enough length where it's not a huge complaint of mine.
Yeah, no, it's funny because the singles, I wasn't crazy about Punks and Demons. That was probably one of my least favorite tracks
You,
on the album,
you
personally.
you know what I wrote for? I wrote one word for Punks and Demons. What do you think it was?
Bad.
No, no, Satan. That's all I wrote
Oh,
because it's said a lot in that song.
yeah, there seemed to be quite a bit of that in there. I did enjoy Heathen Days and I'm a rock and roller. I was like, all right, we're gonna get some traditional zombie. Not that his other stuff isn't relatable. I think of the 10 years ago we had everybody's fucking in the UFO, and I'm like, that was like
Yeah.
Primus, and you're like, all right, what are we doing here? I love that song, but the singles I think were a good representation of what the album was gonna bring.
Yeah, I think what like you just mentioned, it like one of the songs that probably leans more into the humor, I feel like was like a song like Sir Lord Acid Wolfman was
Hmm.
another one. He was like yo ho, like pirates. I really felt like it was leaning more into it than that one, and it felt different than the rest of the album.
Yeah, is that the one I'm thinking of? That I believe that was the one that had that like hillbilly twang to it, like that like
It,
southern rock folky kind
it
of.
might have been that one, yeah.
Yeah, because I actually enjoyed that. I thought that was great. I'm like, all right, we're breaking it up a little bit, getting that southern or whatever you want to call it, folk sound in there.
Yeah.
Um, Outside of the singles, Tarantula, I love Tarantula. For some reason, Super Beast came to mind when that song came on. Um, uh,
Tarantula, I really felt like it was a straight up like continuation of the previous song, "Fuck the
mhm.
World" 8084. Which that one, the first song on the album, I don't like when it's like excessive swearing, and not because I find it offensive, not because I find it offensive, but I think you're laughing because you're in agreement. But it,
Continue the thought.
I was just gonna say, like it has like when it's a lot of swearing like that, I feel like it's not creative, and it's like has like Five Finger Death Punch feels, which is not always a good thing. What were you gonna add?
So I sat there and I had to. Honestly, I listened to the album like 4 or 5 times to kind of get a real feel for it. And when I listened to "Fuck the World" '84 again, the last time on the album, and I was like, really listen. I was making breakfast, and I was like, yeah, this is a lot. This takes away pretty much what you said. I think it takes away. I think it's lack of creativity, and I don't want to sound like anyone's better or anything, but I mean he's over 60. Rob Zombie is over 60. Sounds incredible, but when I think about this, going off of what you're saying, okay, we got excessive swearing, and it's from somebody who's over. It just feels like there's some lack of creativity.
Yeah, that's right. It's the only point in the album that does it, and I mean, it's the first song. So that was one of the downsides of the album. And another point too that I was wondering was I'm not when like Revolution motherfuckers. I'm not crazy about when Rob does like that higher pitched singing. I don't know. It's almost like nasally a little bit. It doesn't sound natural to me. It never did whenever he did do it.
Um,
Um,
I was shocked he did it.
yeah,
Again, he's 60. When I heard that, I'm like, is this from this year and not 20 something years ago?
yeah. And I was wondering, like, I think one of the a press release mentioned too, like there was some punk influence in this album. I'm like, where's the punk? And I was like, I didn't quite get it yet, but then the Black Scorpion came on. I said, okay, there it is. Minute and a
Hmm.
half, really kind of fast. I said,
Yep, it had
that's what.
that punk, that fast speed vibe with
Yeah.
the organ, the synthesizer. Um, and I
And
thought, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say, I was gonna just mention one of my least favorite songs on the album, and then I'll mention my least favorite, and then I'll go to my favorite after whatever you got to say just now.
Well, I was gonna say, so yeah, I felt like the way this album would wrap up, and I like the way the album wrapped up. You got Black Scorpion, where it has this like very fast punky thing, and then it goes to Unclean Animals and Grave Discontent. Now, I have talked about my gripes with interludes and short, just bad songs. These two pieces right here, I think, were a good way to wrap up a Rob Zombie album. It really had this really eerie feeling like you were passing some old dude in an old, rotten old house, sitting there rocking back and forth, telling you not going down that road, and you walk by him and into the woods, and that's it. You end on a creepy note.
That's interesting you say that because I was going to say, I mean, the synthy intro with Discontent was fine. Unclean Animals was probably my least favorite on the album, only because I felt like it was the song that was trying the hardest to be different when it didn't need to be. The the album as a whole had a basic formula to it, and I don't mean
Mhm.
that in a negative way. I mean, that's just a fact of and what the album is from what I see and what I've listened to. Yeah, I felt like it really tried to be different, but I do agree that it does have like that eerie feeling to it.
Yeah, I think, again, going back to the way you end an album, I think is important.
Yeah.
Um, this particular case, it doesn't always have to be high and heavy. I mean, I think of Rob Zombie every time I watch a Rob Zombie movie, listen to a Rob Zombie album. I feel like I am watching just a collection of old horror movies from like the 30s all the way to the 80s.
Yep.
So for me, it wasn't, I'm not going to say it wasn't perfect, but I feel like the way it wrapped it up and kind of just let you kind of like sit there and soak in it and let it fizzle out, I thought was perfect.
Yeah, I think he knew he had the right structure
The
for
mood
this
was there.
album. Yeah. And then I the points I really liked when the songs were short and to the point, like Devil Man, like anything
Mhm.
that had that Hellbilly Deluxe vibe on this album, which I think they were going for. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So for me, I think Punks and Demons is down there for me. Probably my least favorite. But again, I think I say least favorite, and it's not like it's bad. I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
Rob puts out bad music. And then Tarantula, I thought was probably my favorite on the album.
Yeah, no, like I said, he sticks to a formula here, and I it sounded very different than the last. I don't. Maybe I just don't remember it well enough. Very different than the last time I listened to him 10 years ago. But he still sounds like he's rocking and rolling. You know, even at 60 plus years old, he still got it.
So here's what changes the whole mood on the album to wrap this up. So this is the first album since Signature Urge to feature his guitarist Riggs, who was on the first two solo albums,
Yep.
and then the first to feature his bassist Blasko, and I think he was also on Hellbilly Deluxe. So you got original band members returning to bring back that sound.
Okay, yeah. So he definitely went for that old school feeling on this album, reminiscent of Hellbilly Deluxe, and I think he succeeded. He did that, and he maintained this modern feel to it as well. So yeah, so I think he nailed it. Yeah, and let us definitely, guys, let us know in your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us why we're wrong, or if we're right. Let us know your thoughts. That's pretty much our thoughts on the great Satan. We will see you guys next time, and as always, do not forget to join the bedlam.